Yeah, you better run. Hey guys, April here. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another comic review. This is basically a stack of some of the comics that I read during October. If you saw the intro, I have some pretty strong feelings about certain things, so let's just get started. So starting off, let's talk about it. Saga number 9, written by Brian K. Vaughan, art done by Fiona Staples. There's no way to talk about this without a few spoilers, so spoilers, what can I say other than for you Games of Thrones fan out there, this is basically the Red Wedding volume of the Saga series. It starts off pretty innocuously, but once the bodies start dropping, they just don't stop. I was devastated. I was very upset by the end of this book, and then he literally ripped my heart out. Just why? Why? However, literally and artistically, this is perfect. It's a 5-star read. I'm not opening this book because I just can't look inside, but this is definitely an example of Fiona Staples' work. I'll show you the back. Yeah, I'm not opening this book for a little bit. I can't do it. But yeah, she's been consistent throughout the series. Her artwork really lends so much to the story, and this is no exception. But it's Vaughan's script that wins the day here. Take into account that this is actually 6 issues packed into one volume that charts the course of one single day. So a lot is explored here, where things start off slow and leisurely, and how over the course of a day, one single act can just spark a flame that can burn your world to the ground. If you haven't gotten into reading this story, this is an opportune time to do so. Since they are taking a break, you'll have an extended amount of time to give you an opportunity to catch up. Also, if you have the Kindle Unlimited app, you can read the first volume of Saga for free. You can also find these at your local libraries as well. So not a hard sell here, but honestly, it's such a great story. I think a number of people across a cross section of ideologies and beliefs and likes will find something very enjoyable in this story. But honestly, they get me right here in the feels. Loved it, hated it. I want the next volume almost immediately, but I think I need a break too to just decompress. So let's talk about something a little more pedestrian, and that is Scream Queen by Brendan Hay. And I believe the art is done by Nate Watson. This is distributed by Boom Studios. I picked it up for the cover because it was October and I wanted to pick up things that were more spooky or horror in nature. I guess this qualifies as that, but it also is more campy, like very campy in the way a 80s teen horror flick is campy. But what saves it, it's very self-aware. It knows what it is, so it doesn't take itself too seriously. There's nothing new here. You've seen all of these tropes before. This is Molly. She's a pretty blonde girl who works at the mall food court, something like an Orange Julius. And this is Righty, a guy living in the mall's crawl space who hasn't really had the best upbringing in regards to socializing with other people. So he takes little social interactions and kind of blow them completely out of proportion. Like when Molly serves him a drink that he pays for, this is an act of love for him. In any case, of course, he now wants to defend his girlfriend, so any perception of anyone giving Molly a hard time, or more importantly, getting in the way of him dating Molly, needs to be taken out. So yes, he's murdering and abducting people, all for the love of Molly. And Molly is so damn unappreciative.
Oh my god, why can't you just take the freaking compliment?
Yeah, that's pretty much how this played out. You knew that this was going. She got eyes for a guy who looks cute, and even though Righty looks nothing like this, He's not hot. No. He does try to gussy up, so he gets points for trying. He just goes overboard. If you like campy 80s reads or movies and you're like a real fan of that genre, this might be something I would suggest you pick up. But if that's not your thing, hard pass. Scream Queens. It was okay. And next up is Batman Hush, which I have affectionately renamed Batman, You, Me, and Everyone We Know. Because everybody was in this book. This book was packed to the edges with familiar faces. Joker, Harley Quinn, Killer Croc, the Huntress, Catwoman, of course, a couple of Robins, Superman. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Not that that's a problem for me. It was great to see all of these people in action in a story that really kind of supported their relationship with not only with Batman and Bruce Wayne, but kind of with each other. This is a nice little mystery that basically centers around one question: who is Hush? A sort of mastermind who is pulling the strings, propelling Batman's most notable villains to all take a run at him at the same time. I guess another question is why? So who and why? Considering all the players involved, it's a nice tight story with some really nice art. Okay, can we look at this back cover too? There is also this little start of a romance between Batman and Catwoman, which I just adored. Artistically speaking, just some really nice artwork in here. Look at that, Batman and Nightwing. And then you see Hush there, face covered. Some nice artwork here of Catwoman with Poison Ivy. They have such an odd relationship. Ooh, little spoilery, but here's Poison Ivy with Superman. He's under that spell. I wasn't certain if I wanted to read this or The Long Halloween for October. Both were written by Jeff Loeb, by the way. But I chose to go with this because I hadn't read it before, and I'm so glad I did. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe narrative-wise, story-wise, I prefer The Long Halloween. But overall enjoyment of the story, I think Hush kind of ekes it out just a little bit. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the story. I know that there were some continuity issues in regards to Batman and some of the other characters' existing storylines or canon. That isn't a problem for me. I try to take certain series as standalones. Plain. But I try to take certain series as standalones, not get too bogged down in continuity things. But that's just me. Do you? That's just me. I enjoyed the story. I like Jeff Loeb as a writer. I love Lee's artwork. So I think I was gonna love it from the beginning. But I'm a stan for Batman. It takes a lot for me to not like a good Batman story. And this is a good Batman story. Since we talked about Batman, let's talk about something else that I have been reading but not discussing. And that is the new Catwoman series. This is issue number 1. And this is issue number 2. These are variant covers. Joelle Jones is doing the story and the art. Laura Aldred is doing the color inside of the story, inside of the issues. But the covers, the variant covers, are done by Stanley Lau. I'm usually not a fan of his because, to steal a phrase, he can be a little beefcakey. But I've believed that for his covers, especially for these, he's captured Catwoman in such an iconic way. This is what I see when I think of her. And the story is pretty much the same. Now, from what I understand, I haven't read The Wedding. I'm waiting for that. But my understanding that this story picks up after whatever happens in there. I'm assuming things don't go well. And Catwoman is no longer in Gotham. She's in California, licking her wounds and trying to piece together her life, but that doesn't mean you can take a run at her like you crazy. In this issue, in this story, we have a First Lady of California, the governor's wife, who, for lack of a better word, is a monster. Both in personification and in deed. I don't know what is up with this woman. She's got a plan that she is trying to execute. To what end, I don't know. But nobody seems to be safe. Not the citizens of California, and definitely not that woman's husband. In any case, to execute parts of her plan, she is using women dressed as Catwoman to commit crimes all over the city. But one of these events ends with the death of a police officer, which puts Catwoman, aka Selina Kyle, on everybody's radar. And unfortunately for the First Lady, it also puts her on Selina's radar. Because what you're not gonna do is use her as a foil for whatever bull crap you're doing, especially if she ain't getting paid. But again, what pulled me in for these were these beautiful covers, which is the reason I have, this is issue 1 and issue 2. And I also have issue 3 here and issue 4. This is my favorite one. I love this issue. Well, look, the cover, I haven't read it yet. I love these so far. I'm enjoying the story. The artwork inside is pretty solid. I am enjoying some of the artwork. Here's Selina. I love that. Her whipping into the subway. Okay, I am going to spoil it a bit because I have to show you this. This is the First Lady of California. I'm telling you, she is monstrous. I mean, there is no painting in her attic. All her sins are right there on her face. Woo! But again, it's a great story. I like it so far. Even without knowing all of the details of what happened in the wedding, I'm able to follow this narrative. So I'm having a good time with it. I'm enjoying the story. I like the art. I love these covers. And yeah. So I'm back to reading Catwoman again. I haven't read single issues of Catwoman in quite a few years. I'm thinking at this point I can start counting in decades. That's how long it's been. So thank you, Joelle Jones, right? Yes, Joelle Jones. I love this. Let's swing into Marvel. This is Shuri #1. Shuri, if you recall, is T'Challa, aka Black Panther's sister. She is a brilliant woman, kind of comparable to a Tony Stark in her technical prowess. So I think this story is running in, not concert, but maybe a prequel to the existing Black Panther's narrative where he's in space, T'Challa's in space. So in this issue, we find out that Shuri has developed some form of space travel and T'Challa is testing it out. It's only supposed to last for maybe a few hours, a few days at max, but he's been gone for a couple of weeks and everybody is concerned. What happened to T'Challa? Where is he? So in his absence, the elder women of Wakanda come to Shuri and suggest that she take up the mantle of Black Panther in T'Challa's absence. But that's pretty much what's happening in this story. I don't really know how I feel about this yet. Maybe because it's only the first issue and there's not a lot in it. You know, it's kind of just starting off a new story. I think part of the reason I'm having an issue with this introduction is that it feels so predicated on what T'Challa is or isn't doing. And therefore, I don't get the sense of Shuri by herself, if that makes sense. Like in the film, and unfortunately, that's really the only kind of reference I have for their relationship is the film one. Shuri stands on her own. T'Challa doesn't have to be absent for Shuri to shine. So I don't know if it was necessary for it to be aligned with the current Black Panther storyline where Shuri is the Black Panther because T'Challa isn't there, or why she even has to be the Black Panther at all. Why can't she just be Shuri, this technical marvel, doing all this wonderful, amazing things in her own right? I think that's what I was hoping for and expecting, kind of this girl or woman who contributes so much to the growth and prosperity of her country and her people, even with T'Challa and Black Panther there. He is not doing all of that progress by himself. She is very instrumental to that, and I think I would have preferred to see her do her thing, not do his thing. Does that make sense? However, the artwork is nice. I've seen this type of artwork before. It's not one of my favorite styles, but I'm okay with it. I think some interesting choices here. Oops. And I do like this last page a lot. Well, next to last, anyway. I really like that. Oh, did I not say who wrote this? This is written by Nnedi Okorafor, Leonardo Romero, and Jordi Belair. They are all the artists and writers contributing to this storyline. So right now, I'm kind of in a wait and see holding pattern for this. I would give this, if I was rating it, maybe a 3.5 to 4 stars for a start, which isn't bad. I just hope we don't get a full story of her being a placeholder for somebody else. So I found something new. This is Friendo, written by, excuse me, Alex Pacanel and illustrated by Martin Simmons. I haven't heard either of these artists before, and this is from Vault Comics. I don't think I've read anything from Vault Comics before either. This story centers about a man named Leo. We first meet him when he's around 13 years old, and his father is this kind of street preacher who rages against consumerism and capitalism in America. Because of his father's kind of weird behavior, Leo and his father are separated, and I believe Leo is put into the system, like foster care. And then we jump time and we are reintroduced to Leo in his like early 30s. He's an out of work actor who is making ends meet by doing some very strange and somewhat dangerous side hustles. He also has a girlfriend who I believe is an actress or somebody very popular because TMZ is stalking her. She has a beautiful house in the hills and she likes Leo a lot and she likes to give him gifts, which he is marginally appreciative of, but he would prefer to be able to buy his own stuff. Her latest gift to Leo is these glasses called Friendo, and they are basically a advanced version of Google Glass, but instead of typing information across the screen, this offers an anthropomorphic hologram, if you will, to kind of interact with. So Leo accepts the gifts. He takes the glasses with him when he's out in the city. He needs to use them, so he puts them on, and unfortunately he has an accident. I don't know if it's an accident, but he was attacked, and then something else happens after the attack, which leads you to believe that the glasses and or Leo are going to be altered in some way. I liked it. I really, really did. What I liked about it the most was actually the characters. I liked how they were, the relationships between each of the characters. I liked how Leo is set up now. He's kind of an everyman kind of person. And you see that something very abnormal is about to happen to him. And I'm really interested in seeing which way he kind of tilts. The artwork is pretty decent. I do like the color. Like that a lot. This is LA on fire. Ironic, huh? This is one of Leo's jobs. He's a go-go boy at a club. Can I show you? Yeah. Here is kind of the skeletal beginnings of Leo's anthropomorphic character. So here are the glasses that he wears, and this is the character that is going to be created. That's not the character inside of there. That's his girlfriend. She's just standing in the way. But yeah. Interesting story. I want to see what happens next. I don't know if this is a limited series or not. If it is an extended series that'll go on and on like The Wicked and the Divide, I'll probably just pick it up in trade and read it like that. But either way, I do want to continue the story because I do find it very interesting and I had a lot of fun with it. And they're having a lot of fun too, which is great. It's infectious. I liked it. Vault Comics, huh? I have to look at more in their catalog because I don't know a lot about them. Okay, so I know I mentioned this one in my TBR. This is Outcast, written by Robert Kirkman, and I believe the art is done by Paul Azaceta. I hope I'm saying that right. Like I mentioned before, what turned me on to this was that I saw the television show that I believe was either on Stars or Showtime, I can't remember. This pretty much storyboards the entire show. All of the scenes in here, I saw on the screen. Luckily for the both of us, I am invested in finding out more about the story because like I said, I only saw the first season and this will extend beyond that because I believe Outcast is still an ongoing series. Robert Kirkman ends nothing. So it's about this guy, Kyle Barnes. He has an ability that isn't immediately explained, but what is happening in his small town is that individuals are being possessed. Now, the local preacher believes they're being possessed by demonic possession, like religious demonic possession. But it's becoming more and more clear that religion may not be a part of it. And that this may have more to do with maybe more of like a natural phenomenon. Whatever is taking possession of the people has been here and has been here a very, very long time. It's interesting. I'll give him that. It's very interesting. It's very creepy. Robert Kirkman does a very good job with ensemble writing. He knows how to write for stories with multiple focal points from different character points. It doesn't hate. Kyle Barnes may be the star or the center of the story, but there are a lot of other characters here who have their own stories that kind of abridge to his that are compelling on their own. I think that's good because especially for stories that have that are so continuous in nature, sometimes to make them all about one person can become rote and monotonous because a person can only do so much. They can only carry so much narrative. And it's great when a writer can put off some of the load onto other characters in compelling and interesting ways. And I think Kirkman has done a really good job with this. So I have finished issue 1 and 2, I believe. Yeah. So I'm going to try to get through the rest over and get caught up eventually, but I don't know how long that's going to take me. I'm reading a whole lot of stuff, but this is one story I do continue to keep reading. Outcast. Oh, did I show you any of the artwork? Here's some artwork. Yeah. Here's Kyle. This is a great start of a great scene, by the way. Him at the hospital. And yeah, this guy. Don't let the looks fool you. This was great. This is a really good story. I really enjoyed this. Ooh, it's getting bright in here. So, this is Clean Room. Written by Gail Simmons. Art done by John Davis Hunt and Quentin Winter. And this is, without a doubt, one of the strangest stories I've ever read. This is about a woman named Astrid Mueller. Yes, that's her on the cover. She is the founder and head of an organization called the World Health Foundation, which is kind of this self-helpy religious organization that in our world we could probably say is something akin to Scientology. Her organization is very popular, especially among the Hollywood elite, I believe. Currently, right now, there is an actor in distress that she is helping out. We also meet Astrid as a young person, and something very strange happens in her youth that probably informs what she is doing right now. We also meet another character, and I'll show you who she is. I believe her name is Chloe. Yes, Chloe. And she is a writer. We'll just show some of the artwork at the same time. So this is Chloe. And this is Chloe's boyfriend. Chloe's boyfriend used to be a member of the World Health Organization until one night he comes home with a handgun and blows his brains out. That's the image you see here. I think she's reminiscing. Chloe is very upset. She blames Astrid Mueller and the World Health Foundation for her fiance's suicide, and she wants to expose them as the fraud organization that they are. She believes they're manipulating people, making them do all kinds of things, and leaving them in distress. Strangely enough, though, when Chloe approaches Astrid, Astrid offers her full access to the World Health Foundation. Says that yes, you can come in, you can see what we are doing, and you can report your findings. We have nothing to hide. However, I kind of question Astrid's motives. I'm not sure if Astrid really is ready to open up about what they are doing at the World Health Foundation, or is she just being agreeable with Chloe because I think she believes that Chloe is a possible key to help with what they are doing inside the World Health Foundation. And what they are doing in there is far beyond anything that I thought was going to be going down. There seemed to be some kind of mystic, supernatural thing going on here. And it seems like the demons that they are trying to clean people from are very much real. It is surreal and bizarre and a little frightening in some aspects. But I enjoyed it. I really did. What I enjoyed about it was I liked Gail's voice. I liked Chloe's voice in this. I liked Astrid's voice in this. I haven't even decided whether or not I think Astrid Mueller is a villain or not. But she's definitely a person with a point of view. I did like the artwork. I thought it was well done. Yeah, I mean, the colors aren't outstanding, but I do like the pencil work. I think that's how they say it. The pencil work is nice. But again, kind of like with Saga, it's the story that's kind of winning out here. It's very compelling. You want to know what's going on. I am invested in the characters. Like I said, I do like Chloe a lot. I like her idea of like, nobody's going to get away with this. But I can, from what we learn of Astrid Mueller through her background and what she's doing at the organization, there is something far bigger going on in the world that people seem to be blind to. And she is working very hard to kind of keep things at bay. This is a 3-volume series. I was able to pick up the other 2 volumes from Book Outlet, and I plan on reading them as soon as I can because I really want to find out what's going on. But yeah, I enjoyed the story, and nice cover, right? So last and certainly not least is The Black Monday Murders. This is volume 1, written by Jonathan Hickman. Yes, Jonathan Hickman. Art done by Tom Coker. Colors done by Michael Garland. This was a definite cover buy for me. I didn't know anything about this story when I picked this book up. Then I found out subsequently after looking it up, it's about a crypto noir story, mystery in regards to the financial system with a bit of occult sprinkled in. Well, after reading this, there's more than the occult sprinkled in. It is riddled throughout. And this is about a financial institution called Kana Cankren. They are an American firm, kind of like a hedge fund, and it also seems to align itself, maybe not publicly, but definitely within its structure, with the occult in worshiping a god named Mammon. The interesting play with the financial market, not only is it the source of their wealth, they do gain a lot of money through their speculation and machinations of the financial market, but it's also an indicator of time. When the market crashes, it is an indication that it is a time for sacrifice. It requires a human sacrifice, and they already have this person assigned for that. There are like 4 heads of each of these institutions, and one of the heads sits in a seat called the stone chair, and whoever sits in that seat is supposed to be sacrificed during the period of the crash. We start this story where the stock market has crashed and it is time for another sacrifice. However, the next day, we discovered that another seat member has been murdered, not the person sitting in the stone chair. And it wasn't just a random killing. This person was ritualistically killed, which sets off bells and whistles inside of Kana Cankren, like, what the hell just happened? Why was this person murdered instead of the stone chair person? And also, because the murder was done so flamboyantly and the body left for basically in public view, it also draws the attention of the local police, and that's how we get introduced to Detective Theodore Dumas. Now, Theodore Dumas is a detective with the New York Police Department. He doesn't really handle financial scenes, but he does handle murders. And he also has a connection to the occult because he is a practitioner of voodoo. So when these strange kind of things occur, a lot of time the big wigs in the police department tap Dumas to kind of investigate that. The person who was killed, I can't remember his name right now, but his sister, a twin, which is an anomaly within this group for some reason, comes back to town. She was ostracized in her youth, but she has come back and she is going to take her brother's place within the organization. Remember, this was not a sanctioned murder, so they need somebody to fill that seat. And those seats, I think, pass down from family member to family member. She has a very interesting backstory, she and her brother. She also has kind of a guardian and protector with her that is creepy as hell. Stylistically, I also enjoyed it. I like the art. Let's see. Sorry, the sun is really bright right now. Yeah. Really, I like the art. I also like the literary nature of it. I know I mentioned before that these redacted pages in here seem cool, and they were. They give off so much information. Some of it is just definitions, like from Webster's. Some of it is transcripts from interviews with police reporters. Some of it is newspaper clippings, and some of them are journal entries from a boy who is almost, I think, as young as 5 years old. This was great. Of everything I read, including Saga, as that was a 5-star read to be sure, but this was definitely the best thing I read. It was new, it was interesting, it was compelling, it was dark. It made the reader work a little because this is story driven. The art is great, it definitely helps, it's nice to look at, but this is a story-driven narrative, and it really sinks its teeth in, and I enjoyed it a lot, and I am excited to get on to volume 2. I don't know if this is a continuing series or if it's already finished, but either way, if it keeps up like this, I will read it all the way through. Just great. Fantastic. Black Monday Murders, Jonathan Hickman. I don't think I've read anything by him before, but I will definitely keep a lookout for his name in the future. So that's it, guys. My card's almost empty. My battery's almost dead. But I wanted to get this out, and I like the fact that there are just so many different creators out there making great, new, fresh stories. Awesome. Awesome. I love that. But what do you guys think? Have you read any of these stories? If you have, let me know in the comments below. Tell me what you think. But again, thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more, give this a thumbs up, a like, and subscribe because your support is always appreciated. And I will see you guys next time. Bye. Happy reading.